Hello, welcome to our first English webinar. My name is Carol. I work for Sitasys now for 6 years as solution engineer. I support installers during installation of transmission devices, and maybe you had me on the phone already some day, I don't know, but I'm on the front. So today I show you how you can create a talos account and register your own company, and how you can create a workflow, an action plan based on criteria, and how you can use it in the alarm management. So first, a little technical thing. You can ask questions if there are any. You can do that by click on Q&A in the webinar software. And then you can write us a question, and we will answer it. I hope so. I can answer it. So, okay, I will show you in the first part the registration for an account in Talos. It is an easy thing, and in the second part we will set up a workflow based on criteria. Okay, then let's start. To create an account in Talos, open talos app.io. And then you see here this landing page. To register a new account, simply click here on register. Then you have to enter your email address, then select the password, enter your first name, last name, and click on sign up. That's the whole registration process. So for that, I have a temporary email address created, because every email address that was used is blocked. So I enter my email address, my password, my name, and click on sign up. So that's all. Now I have to verify my email address. Yeah, I have already received it. So this looks like this. I have to verify my email address. That's all. To do that, I click on this verify link. So now my email is verified and I can continue. And the next step is now I should be able to log in with my credentials. So this is the last step of the registration. There is no company actually for my new created account, and I have to create one now. To do that, I simply click on create a new company. Then I enter my company name and confirm by click on create company. So that's all. The registration is finished. You see, it's very simple and very quick done. And after the successful registration, you are directly on the dashboard of Talos. And I will give you a short overview over this dashboard. And then we go directly to the second part, the creation of the workflow. So on the left side, you have the menu. The menu items I will explain in detail a little bit later. And here on the dashboard, you have many informations about your devices, about your sites, about your customers. And you have here insights, statistics. Now, because it's a new created account, there is no statistics. Yeah. But for the second part, I will change the account, and then we will see much more data here on the dashboard. So the second menu item is alarms. In this tab, you see incoming alarms and alarms that are processed by operators. So this alarm tab is the current alarms in process, I can say. So the next menu item is sites, and under sites you can create all your customer sites. And site have a transmission device, and this transmission device can also be configured here in Talos. Then the next menu point is site groups. You can group sites to site groups. This is for a better overview. If you have many sites, then you can make a better overview with site groups. So the next menu item is Eventblocks. There you see processed alarms, already processed alarms. So Eventblocks is like a history. You see past events there. Everything is logged by Talos, so you can every time access on past events. And this is here in Eventblocks processed alarms. The next menu item is events, recent alarms. It's almost the same like Eventblocks, but the events show you the recent alarms that are not processed. So the events shows you all open alarms. And the last menu item is the company. There you can make global settings for your company, like global workflows. You can create users. You can invite users. So if for your company you need for another member an account in Talos, simply invite this employee by clicking here and then invite member. Paste his email address here in, select if he is a company admin or not, and click on submit, and he will then receive an invitation to Talos. Here you have also settings for your company. We will see that in a little bit more detailed in the second part of this webinar. Here you can manage also the integrations. This needs a little bit explanation. Every task or every special function you want to use in Talos needs an activated integration. So you can send SMS on the fly if you are registered in Talos. You need to activate here at least the Twilio SMS notifications to be able to send SMS by Talos. And we have many integrations for different applications, like mentioned now, the SMS. Then we can also transfer alarms to Slack. Slack is a messaging tool. Then Talos can do voice over IP calls. Talos is able to do group calls and so on. And here in the integrations, all these tools can be enabled. If you need a tool, a function here for testing, please contact us. We can give you a test account, for example, for SMS notifications or for Twilio calls. Then you can play a little bit with it, and if you have enough experience, you can order your own account on Twilio. But for testing purposes, you can contact us, and we will give you an account for that. So, okay, that was a little overview over the menus, over the menu in Talos. One important thing, you can start a little guide by click here on your user icon and then go to guides and start Talos overview. And you then, there pop-ups, help windows that explains all the menu items. You can click on next, and the dashboard is explained, the alarms is explained, and so on. So every menu item is explained by this little assistant, by this guide. So to finish the overview, here you can manage your account, your profile. You can leave the company, but I think that is not recommended. Then you can change here your Talos account settings, like audio volume. Like I mentioned it before, you can do phone calls over Talos, and incoming alarms also have a audio notification, and this volume you can control here. Then you can set the language for Talos. Then here you can activate and deactivate guides. And here you can do some settings for workflows. So, okay, that was the little overview over the Talos dashboard, over the Talos control panel. Yeah. And now I'm switching the account and we go directly to the second part, the creation of a workflow. So until now, no questions. Sure. So, like I mentioned it before, I have here already devices created, and this dashboard looks a little bit different to a new created one. I see here many statistics, how many alarms was received in the last days, how many sites are active, and so on, which integrations are activated. And you see in this account, I have SMS and voice over IP and Twilio calls. All this is activated. This is also the reason why I switched the account now. So I create the workflow for my device. The first step is to select a device. I'm doing this by clicking on this device number. And now I'm on the device. I see here the device state. I can see addresses, the customer address, and so on, and recent events. And here I can create workflows. At the moment, there are no workflows configured. Therefore, I have to create a new one. The first step is to enter a name for this workflow, and the second step is to select if it's an automated or if a manually workflow. The difference is automated workflows are processed by Talos. No user interaction is needed. And manually workflows are the opposite of that. Non-automated workflows are for operators that are working with Talos. So an incoming alarm has to be processed manually by an operator. But you can create a manually workflow to make commands for the operator. This is as simple as it is. So, but now for this example, I create an automated workflow and click on submit. So now I'm directly in the workflow creator. And the first thing I have to do is to select a condition, an incoming alarm condition. And you can choose here many condition types. I can choose alarm code, I can choose alarm type, alarm zone, alarm value, and so on. You have here many informations that can be used as alarm incoming conditions. For the alarm codes, I mentioned it before here in the company settings. Under settings, there is a list. I hope I find it here under alarm settings, alarm definitions. You can click on view all and a big list is opened, and all possible codes, contact ID codes, SCR codes, and so on are listed here in this list. So if you are unsure, for example, what burglary has a code, so you can search here in this list, burglary, and you see this is a contact ID code 130. This list is very helpful for an overview of all these codes. But now I'm going back to our workflow. So, and I create the first alarm condition. And I select here alarm code, and I select 130 for burglary. So that's all. I save it, and the condition is saved. The next step is to create an action if the condition is triggered. Here I have a big drop-down and can select many functions like Twilio group calls, send emails, send SMS, and so on. This drop-down list is based which functions are enabled in your company under integrations. So if you miss here something, for example, SMS, and you want test SMS, please contact us. Like I said before, we can give you test accounts to be able then to send SMS by talos. So I select this, Twilio send SMS, give this action a title. Then I can enter a phone number, I can select a contact, which also the contacts can be configured and edited under company. Then I can choose a contact list. The contact lists are also managed in your company settings, or I can select a role. So all users that have that role will receive an SMS. But for this case, I simply put in my phone number and click on save. I leave here the default text, but you are able to create a default text by and custom text by your own. And you can here simply write what you want to have in your SMS. And by click on Control and space, you can open a little code list, and all this code or all these tags, placeholders, can be used for the SMS. So for example, if you want the device ID in the SMS, you can here select device ID, and the device ID will be in the SMS now. So, but now for this demonstration, I will use the default text. So our workflow is almost finished. We have a incoming alarm condition. We have an action if this condition is true. And now the last step is close the workflow, do nothing, or I can now choose also many functions. But for this example, I close the workflow. So this is a very easy workflow that contains 3 steps. First is the condition check, then the SMS send action, and the last action is to close the workflow. I save this, and now I will test this workflow. And to test a workflow, Talos has a really good function here under alarms. You can then click on this little bell icon, Then you can select your device. On the next step, you can select if it's an alarm or if you want to trigger a restore. You can also select if it's a technical alarm or a test message. But for this example, now I leave this here in alarm. Then we have created a condition that the value 130 must be processed, and I select here 130. So that's all. I trigger this now, and I take my mobile phone here to show you how the SMS is received. I trigger this now, and in a few seconds I should receive an SMS. Yes, exactly. In the SMS there is an alarm 130, site 10001890, Sitasys Industry Street 6 in 4513 Langendorf. So all needed informations are now sent by SMS. Now I see in the Eventblocks also this processed workflow, like a history. So like I mentioned it on the start of the webinar, you can access on every time the history of all processed workflows. You see then here detailed informations to the triggered workflow, when it was triggered, the SMS was successfully sent, and then the workflow was closed. So you see very detailed the processing of this workflow. Surely you are also able to create more complex workflows here. For example, you can choose Twilio alarm verification, and in this action there is much more logic in, like in a simple SMS. So in a verification Twilio call, the guy which receives the call has to verify the alarm, and now there are many possibilities. He can select a false alarm. He can enter a wrong code. It is possible that the person is unreachable, and so on. And based on these events, you can do another action. So if he's unreachable, you can send an SMS to another person or do a call to another person, and so on. So you can combine all these functions within a workflow. There can be many very complex workflows at the end. Generally, if you have questions about creation of these workflows, feel free to contact us. We help you to create every workflow you need. So I'm at the end of this webinar. I hope it was clearly. If not, I'm here until 11:30 surely, and you can ask questions by enter the question in Q&A, and I hope I can answer it then. Nico. So, okay, we have a question, and the question is, I used now for this workflow the alarm code 130, and the question was where this code can be edited on the device. This is a good question. Talos at the moment is connected to evalink Live. This is our ordering tool and installation tool. that is used by installers if they install a transmission device. And here are also done all the orders. So if you want to order a package here in Sitasys, you can order it by Evalink Live and then create a device, and then the installer is able to also use Evalink Live and then do the installation. And during the order of a new quote of a new transmission device, you can select these codes. I go now on an already created quote and go here on Configure. And under the point Device Monitoring, I see every configured sensor, and here is also which sensor has which code. And here, for example, this sensor 1 has 130. Sensor 2, which is fire, have 110. And this device is, this device is already installed, so I cannot edit this value. This is only editable if the device is not installed. But also in this case, if you need help, if you need to change these codes afterwards, feel free to contact us. We can help you. I hope this answered the question. Three minutes to go. So I can give a little. Feel free to go on evalink.io, and there are all other upcoming webinars listed. And yeah, we have here a few one. This is the webinar from today. But in August and in September, we also have planned English webinars, so feel free to register for that webinars. So it looks like no other questions are there. We are almost finished. Yeah, we are at the end of this webinar. I thank you for all guests. And I hope for the next time, for the next webinar, I will see you again, and I wish you a nice day. Bye.